Alright, guys, it is Friday, January 5th, 2024 at 5:49 p.m. Alright, guys, let's minimize that and get into the Bible verse. Verse of the day from dailyverses.net. It says, "As you do not know the path of the wind, or how the body is formed in the mother's womb, so you cannot understand the work of God, the maker of all things." Ecclesiastes 11:5. Alright, guys, let's begin by taking a look at Space River News in the Community tab. I shared a lot of news today and yesterday. Let's go over some of it. Alright, so we have Appalachian icing. This is what could be possible in the coming days as there are storms headed our way. Alright, so we got ice all the way from parts of Georgia and South Carolina and parts of North Carolina Appalachians into Virginia, into West Virginia, and into parts of below Pennsylvania. Alright, guys, so a lot of ice is coming our way in this region. Please be careful driving. Be aware of the roads. You don't want to be able to slide and ride off the road, so please be careful driving in these conditions. If you can, stay home and avoid the whole situation entirely. That would be best. But if you actually do have to drive in these conditions, please pray God protect you and watch over you because it is going to be dangerous. A lot of snow and ice coming our way. Alright, guys. From Cloud9 Blessings, it says, "Always love others. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you." Matthew 5:44. Alright, guys. We have earthquake that happened earlier today at 10:55 a.m. from San Andreas, a magnitude 4.2 earthquake. That's from Mary Greeley News. It will be in the community tab. You want to check out her video. Alright, so two muster storms coming our way. I also left in the community tab Global Rapture Watchers video. North Korea and many others are lining up. That's the title of his video. Alright, guys, so check that video out. He talks a lot about what could be possibly happening in the future. Alright, so we have, as well, I posted 34 minutes ago, Tuesday, Wednesday flash flooding possible. So on Tuesday and Wednesday coming up, flash flooding is possible all the way from Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, the Washington D.C. area, Pennsylvania, New York, parts of Massachusetts, and parts of larger state New York. Alright, so a lot of flooding is possible. And here in this little red dot right here between Pennsylvania and New York, that is a little red dot, meaning that at least 40% chance of higher chance of flash flooding possible. So please be aware if you live in New York, Pennsylvania, that region right here, the little red dot, please be aware that flash flooding is possible on Tuesday and Wednesday. Please get prepared if you have to put sandbags or prepare your property in any way. Pray over your property because God will protect and watch over you. Alright, guys. We have also from New York Prepper a video, so check that out in the community tab. And we have a lot of posts going on about what happened in Miami, the possible aliens, a lot of stuff happening in the previous videos that I made, so watch that if you can. Alright, so a 4.2 happened in California. Pray for California. Hopefully that big one doesn't come, but if it does, be aware that God basically is warning everybody in California that a large earthquake is coming to that region to repent and get saved because he's coming soon. Alright. Also, on January 5th storms, that is today. Look what's happening off the coast of Washington and Oregon and Canada right there. A big, large amount of rain and storm coming in, as well as in the middle of the country by Louisiana, Mississippi and Alabama, Tennessee, and Philadelphia area. We have in the middle of the country a storm coming in. A lot of lightning happening in the Gulf as well. Alright, I covered near-Earth asteroids. Asteroids coming January 6th, 2023, YX1, January 6th, 2024 AC, and January 7th, 2024 AM. So we got these asteroids coming on the 6th and the 7th. Also one on the 8th, AY1, and then on the 9th, XN13. If you look up in Google near Earth asteroids list, the list of asteroids or near Earth objects, you get a list of all the possible asteroids that are close to us and the timing and distance that they will show up. So check that out if you're interested in those objects. Alright. Today in Yellowstone there were still earthquakes as you see here, but there were a smaller amount of earthquakes compared to yesterday. Alright, so you see here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 earthquakes in this region, 2 in this region, and together there's still 2 clusters like I reported yesterday, but there are fewer of them. So please keep praying that the earthquakes calm down and God does not let that happen, the giant volcano happen. Only God knows when and when will happen, so just pray it calms down. Alright. Another fiery crash happened in Plain. Mr. MBB33 covered that. I left that link in the community tab. Alright, currently lightning off Louisiana. So off Louisiana there's lightning happening due to the storm that I was just covering and talking about. Also, strong wind possible and tornadoes on January 8th, 2024 for the Louisiana area and for the Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina area. So strong winds and possible tornadoes Tuesday, January 9th as well. So heads up January 8th and January 9th. We got possible tornadoes and strong winds. Alright. So I had covered that. Winds will be strong for the East Coast and parts of the middle of the country as well. So be aware as these storms pass through. Alright, and I had already showed a picture of freezing. So there's freezing rain possible in these areas January 5th through January 8th. Parts of the Appalachians, parts of Virginia, parts of West Virginia in this region. Alright, so be aware and stay safe when you drive in those regions. Alright, winter storm possibly affecting heavy snow, 6 to 12 inches possible in Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, as well as New York. So heavy snow, 6 to 12 inches possible. Ice up to 1/4 of an inch in the Carolinas. This is valid through 7 a.m. Eastern on Monday. So this is the winter storm possible January 6th and 7th. A lot of snow for the Northeast and ice possible for the Appalachians. Alright guys. A 4.2 earthquake happened in California. I already talked about that. But here's the graphic for it. The 4.2 earthquake 1 kilometer west-northwest of Lytle Creek, California. It was 8.8 kilometers deep. Here's what I find interesting. 888 and 88 means Jesus Christ. So I found it amazing that it was an 8.8 kilometers depth. It means to me that Christ is with us and watching over us. So that's what that means personally. It doesn't have to mean that's for everybody. Alright guys. Alright. There was also a 4.7 earthquake in Afghanistan and a 5.2 earthquake in the Antarctic ridge below Australia. Alright. So Mount St. Helens earthquake 3.3 and Mount Rainier also had an earthquake or disturbance. So watch Mary Greeley News on that. I left all that in the community tab. Alright, so I made the video about these possible things happening. Cloud9 blessings possibly showing people that have prophetic dreams about possible monsters or demons that could be attacking in the future. So I said, well, we have to fight these in the future. 18 of these creatures killed 2009 people in Donbass. These are things that I found online. I don't know how accurate these things are. You have to use discernment and pray to God to protect us from any of that if it is actually true. So we have to stay in Jesus. Jesus Christ will help us fight anything that comes our way. So always pray and trust in God. Make sure you check Space River News in the community tab to check out all these stories. Alright, let's go to Zero Hedge. Alright, large bank loan volumes continue to shrink despite soaring deposit inflows. So large bank loan volumes fell 8.2 billion, the fourth week of falling loan volumes in a row, as deposits jumped 30 billion in NSA. So large bank loans continue to shrink. That's the title of that story. Alright, let's take a look here at this story. The B-1 bomber crashes in South Dakota. Apparently, a B-1 bomber crashed in South Dakota. A Rockwell B-1 Lancer bomber crashed while attempting to land in Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota on Thursday evening. That was last night. Pretty much posted about all that on Twitter. An Air Force B-1 Lancer assigned to Ellsworth Air Force Base crashed approximately at 5:50 p.m. today while attempting to land on the installation. At the time of the accident, it was in transition and training mission. There were 4 air crews on board. All 4 ejected safely. Thank you, God. A statement read from the Public Affairs Office for the 28th Bomb Wing. So that is a very expensive plane, and thank goodness they were safe. Alright, next. North Korea fires hundreds of artillery rounds towards South border islands. So North Korea fired southward toward islands. As its tensions are once again ratcheting in the Korean peninsula, as North Korea fired over 200 artillery rounds off its west coast, which landed near the South Yongpyong and Banyang Islands on Friday. Seoul condemned the provocative act, while the North responded by saying the islands weren't in danger due to these drills. There have been no casualties, and the shells appear to have fallen harmlessly into the sea. But there are fears of a repeat of a 2010 incident in which they saw North Korea artillery fire, killing 4 people on Yongpyong Island. So they are very upset in South Korea about the possibility of this continuing. Please pray, guys, that we don't end up in a war, in multiple wars. But if we do, pray to God to guide you through everything while all these things are happening on the earth. Alright, what happened in Miami on New Year's Day? I'll cover that in a minute. Alright, let's see. 2,000 people evacuated due to continuous eruptions and increased volcanic activity at Mount Lewotawih volcano in Indonesia. Strong ash fall recorded. Major eruption of Semeru volcano in Indonesia again. Please pray for the people of Indonesia going through these volcanoes. Alright, at least 48 people dead. A massive 7.5 magnitude earthquake hit Japan. Please pray for the 48 people who passed away and the people in Japan having to deal with that disaster and rubble. Alright. And then, as I said, I was going to cover this story. Let it reload. Massive police presence. Reports of 7 to 10 foot creatures in the mall. Major blackout. Airport shut down. There was a massive police presence of what was supposedly a fight amongst juveniles with sticks. However, there were shots fired and reports of 7 to 10 foot creatures in the mall, with people shooting at them defensively. The police scanners were cut off. People couldn't reach their loved ones for a few hours. Power was shut off for over 60,000 people, and the airport was shut down with only black police helicopters allowed in the air. It makes no sense what this was strictly for juveniles fighting, and there is no mention of it or follow up in the news at all. What are your thoughts? That is an interesting article from by Strange Sounds. I posted a video myself about what I heard on my end and what I saw on Twitter. So check that out on my videos. Now let's go to the weather. We have this storm right here, snow and winter storm, happening in the middle of the country, headed towards the east coast. We have Louisiana right now being affected by the rain and thunderstorms happening as the storm passes by. On January 6th, it's going to be bringing possible tornadoes and storms to Mississippi and Alabama, parts of Tennessee, North Carolina, West Virginia, and the Appalachian Mountains region is going to be expecting or experiencing an ice storm as it passes by, and lots of snow for for Pennsylvania and the northern regions as the storm passes by. Alright, as you see here, with a low of 999, the snow region as well covering Massachusetts and the Northeast. Alright, guys. This is the satellite right now as the storm passes over Louisiana, Mississippi, and parts of Alabama. It is bringing rain to western Tennessee and parts of Michigan and the bottom of the Great Lakes. So it is passing right through the middle. Alright, also on the west coast, Washington State and Oregon are getting a bit of rain and storms coming inshore from the storms coming from the Pacific. Alright, guys. Taking a look at Mike's weather page, we're going to look at the National Weather Service. It says winter storm to impact the east, powerful system moving into the west, Alaska storm this weekend. A very active weather pattern from Alaska to the eastern seaboard this weekend. First, a strong storm will impact the Aleutians to southern Alaska with strong winds and heavy precipitations. Another strong low pressure system will track southward from Alaska into the west coast with strong winds and mountain snow. For the east coast, a winter storm will bring heavy rain, storms, and strong winds, snow and strong winds. Alright, guys, so here we have Western Virginia, Southwest Virginia, and Northwest Carolina with winter weather advisory. We have in pink winter storm warning all the way from Washington, D.C., central and western Maryland, northern Virginia, east and west Virginia, parts of Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania affected, and south central New York and northeastern Pennsylvania, as well as Boston and the surrounding areas with winter storm warning. So we have the storm coming up this weekend. Alright, guys, here right now again is the live satellite feed of the storms passing over Louisiana, Mississippi, and parts of Alabama, and the rain coming on shore as well here, as you see in the Gulf region. Alright, guys, so that's it for my video. Just wanted to let you know this possibility of storms coming. Not just regular storms, there is possibility of tornadic storms developing this weekend for the south. So it's not just snow and rain, we have a possibility of tornadoes popping up. Alright, guys, pray that God protects and watches over you. Please read the Bible more, be more in Jesus Christ. Help your neighbors out, love each other, love your neighbors as yourself, love God above all else, and be at peace. God bless you guys.